Hello, my name's Tim. Welcome to Tim Burbage Reads, and today I'm going to be talking to you about what kids' books we've been reading in January 2026. So my kids are currently 6 and 8, and as they've grown up, they are now reading independently, as well as reading together and reading to us, and we're reading to them. So what I thought I'd do is this year I would do a video every month on what kids' books have been read in our house. This is because hopefully this video finds people who have kids the same age as ours, or kids who may be a bit younger and looking out what to look for in books that they enjoy. So first section is the kids' books that I've read, either to the kids or by myself, because the kids have lent me the book and said, I think you should read this. So the first thing is The Bad Guys 9 and 10 by Blabey, which is just fantastic. It's a silly caper. It's a graphic novel, so it's a comic. Very easy to read, very big. Characters are incredibly animated. Really, really funny. Then was Once Upon a Legend by Ben Miller. Ben Miller's now becoming one of our kids' favourite authors because they just really, really enjoy his stories. Once Upon a Legend is about Merlin, really, but it's about a boy who is acting out at school, and he gets sent to a special school to kind of control his behaviour. And it's quite interesting. This is the first time. So his parents are divorced, and his mum is potentially remarrying, and so the main character is going through quite a lot of emotions, and it's not dark by any stretch, but it's a bit darker than the other Ben Miller books we have read. The main character Marcus is going through quite a lot of emotions at this time, and basically he goes to this special school where they're like, oh, you could do no wrong, so he's like, I'm gonna get thrown out of this school. And one thing he does is he gets breakfast there, and he piles all the food up, and then he looks at the head teacher and smashes it on the floor, and then the head teacher just goes, food fight, and kind of uses that to disarm all the anger. But in the end, this school is called Merlin's, and there's like a big mound, and there's supposedly a magic staff, and Marcus breaks the staff, and the mound comes to life. It is actually the giants from olden times. And my son was completely enraptured by this. How the giants were, like, the giants go to Stonehenge, and that's like their throne. And then we drove past Stonehenge, and my son was like, oh my God. And you see all the mounds, the barrows, and he's like, that's a giant, that's a giant, that's a giant. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Then I read Dungeon Runner's Ocean Chase by Kieran Larwood. This is book 3 in the Dungeon Runner series, which is Dungeon Crawler Cowell for kids. It's we follow a trio of characters. Kit Kitson, who is a North. He is half gnome, half dwarf, and very small, and he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder about that. Then we have Thorn, who is a vegan vampire. And then we have Sandy, my favourite, is the mage, and she wants to be a sea hag, but she only really knows one spell at the start, which is making sand castles. And she has a little crab called Mr. Pinchy. And these three have formed a team called Triple Trouble, and they're going through the Dungeon Running League. And it's a competition where you have to go through dungeons against other teams, and it's about who gets out first and who kills the monster, or who beats the monster, and who gets the prize, who gets the magic item. And this is the third one. They go under the sea into an undersea dungeon, and the dungeon's really exciting, and you see more of the world. There's like sponsors, and there's possibly some cheating going on, and they don't necessarily win, but it's just such an enjoyable read. And it was quite cool because I opened up the map at the start, and I went, oh, I don't remember there being a map before. Maybe there was. And I'm like, oh, look at this. And then my son's like, oh, what's that? And it's called like the Chasm or something, and it's this huge like canyon in the middle of the world. And then as we're reading it, they fly over the chasm and they kind of describe it, and it was kind of perfectly timed as he's looking at the map and he's getting more interested in the world. Absolutely fantastic. Then I read Witch Wars by Sibeal Pounder. This is one that my daughter gave to me to read, and this is about a girl called Tigo Wickabim who lives in not a very nice place. And she ends up being sucked through the sink, through the drain pipes, into another world full of witches. And she ends up participating in a contest called Witch Wars. And whichever 9-year-old witch wins the race, has to find the clues and solve the puzzles, gets to become head witch for 9 years. And she kind of has no idea about it. She can't do any spells, but it was really fun. The art is fantastic. I like one thing about the art is that it makes all the characters look older than 9 years old, because when you're 9, you feel like you're older. And they're kind of very interested in fashion and magic, and those are things my daughter really likes. But one thing that really made me laugh is they have to go see these, they're called the Cove Witches, who are these old like hags that live by the sea. And whoever goes to see them never comes back. And you're like, oh, maybe. And they get there and they realise it's just a huge party. And the reason why no witch ever comes back is because they don't want to leave, because they're having such a nice time. Really, really funny. And then we are partway through Which Way Across the Galaxy by Cressida Cowell. This is book 2 in the Which Way to Anywhere series. We read book 1 last year and it was absolutely fantastic. This is book 2. And it's, again, brilliant. The art is fantastic. Cressida Cowell does all the art. And we actually met Cressida Cowell, me and my son. And so she signed it and stamped it and talked about it. And we're both really, really enjoying it. In terms of favourite books that I read to the kids, it would have to be, the book of the month would have to be Dungeon Runner's Ocean Chase. I think it's the best one of the series so far. It has enough threat and danger and heroism in the dungeon itself, but you also get a little bit of that world building and longer term mystery. I think it balances those really well. Next are the series of books that my wife and my daughter read. They often read to each other. So the first thing was The Demon Headmaster by Gillian Cross. This is my wife's favourite book of all time, probably. And my daughter really, really loves it. So this is like the second or third time they've read it. Then there's so they've got a Yoto player. Both kids have a Yoto player. And my daughter's got The Worst Witch. So she loves The Worst Witch. She absolutely loves it. She's seen the whole new TV series starring Bella Ramsey. She's now watching the original TV series that was out when we were kids. And yeah, so she read The Worst Witch, The Worst Witch Strikes Back, The Worst Witch All at Sea, and A Bad Spell for the Worst Witch. All just in January. Absolutely loves The Worst Witch. I've read book 1 and I really enjoyed it. I could see why it's timeless. But my daughter just loves witches so much. A book that my wife read to my daughter was Medusa Gorgon's Bad Hair Day by Bethany Walker. This was one where it's about Medusa has been turned, this girl has been turned into Medusa and she's been sent to high school, ultimately. And I think her friend Ariadne's there and she's a spider. It's interesting. My daughter loved this book, but my wife reading it was like, it's really, really contemporary. And because it's so contemporary, like it talks about, there's all these group here and they're Swifties. Am I a Swiftie? I don't even know what a Swiftie is. And it's like, that's so contemporary that in 5 years' time, a kid's growing up going to even know what that is or even understand what that is. So my wife didn't enjoy it as much, but my daughter loved it. And then the last book was Witch Switch by Sibeal Pounder, which is book 2 in the Witch Wars series. So, and my daughter's actually given me to read that. Given that to me to read. That's how sentences work. We asked my daughter what her favourite book was. She said The Demon Headmaster. I asked my wife what my favourite book to read was, and she said Witch Witch. My wife really likes Witch Witch. And then my son, what books he's read kind of by himself. So he read Bad Guys 9 and 10. He's also got the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. He read book 1. I think he got it from the school library or maybe just from the library. And then he got for Christmas like a big set of them. So he read book 2, Roderick Rules, book 3, The Last Straw. And then he started book 4, Dog Days. And he can read them really easily. He enjoys reading them. It's not kind of a big challenge for him. Then he got Tom Gates' book called Dog Zombies Rule. He got that from the school library. And again, could read that really easily. Then he got Dream Master Gladiator by Theresa Breslin. He got this from the school library, and this is interesting because it's about like traveling back in time to the Roman times in your dreams, and he's done the Romans at school, and he really enjoyed that. And then he is partway through, or in January he was partway through, I think he's finished it now, The Day I Fell Into a Fairytale by Ben Miller, which is a book that my wife and daughter read in, I want to say, November, December, and then I read it because they were like, this is so good, and now my son's read it. And yeah, absolutely fantastic. I asked my son what his favourite book was, and he said The Bad Guys, 9 and 10. I think that's his favourite book series ever. He's just devoured them, and he finds the films really funny, and he finds the books really funny. He loves The Big Bad Wolf. Yeah, so that's the Kids Book Club. Let me know if you like this kind of video, just focusing on kids literature. Give this video a thumbs up. Please like it. Please subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you in the next one. Now, get out of my house!